Good afternoon and welcome to another BRIC segment of AAU Teen Talk TV. Today we have a very special guest all the way from Memphis, Tennessee, Corey P. Smith. He's the author of the book Conspiracy of Credit. But before we get into that, I would just like to take a moment to talk about issues such as credit and everything, because with the upcoming school semester, a lot of adults have young men and women that are getting ready to attend college, and that's about the time, knowing myself, where most predatory lenders will give your kids multiple credit cards, and they have to learn to be responsible with this credit. What credit is, credit to debt ratio, how to use it as a tool as opposed to being a weapon against themselves. In 1933, March 9th to be exact, House Joint Resolution 192 talked about basically turning the assets and labor over of the Americans they basically pledged it as the full faith and credit for this nation. So there's a lot of different ways you can go with credit. Some people see it as economical bondage. Some people see it as an advantage. You know, we're going to cover a lot of these topics today while Mr. Smith is here in the studio with us live. And, you know, we're just going to get into a whole lot of different things, and you will enjoy what we have in tune for you today. And when we come back, I would like to show you a video clip of Mr. Smith and what he's doing, traveling all over the United States, bringing this message to various venues, celebrities, etc. So we'll be right back with more BRIC segment of AAU Teen Talk TV in a second. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
And welcome back to another segment, BRIC segment of AAU Teen Talk TV. Before we bring our special guest, Corey P. Smith, on today, author of Conspiracy of Credit, I would just like to share a clip with you, and we'll go into that at this moment.
I come from a place that I had to learn how to be a pirate. I had to learn how to take things legally, so to speak. The educational system that I was put into, it absolutely gave me no tools to make it in real life. We had no resources. I often hear cats talk about if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Hell, I say if you can make it where I'm from, Memphis, you can make it anywhere.
What you just saw was a video clip of today's guest, Corey P. Smith, the author of Conspiracy of Credit. He's a very great guy. We talk at length about different issues. And as I was saying before we went to commercial break, you know, the fall semester's coming up in college, and this is a time where a lot of predatory lenders basically reach out to your kids. They get tons of credit card applications in the mail, because what's going on now is once your child is in college and they become basically an adult, they start to get targeted. And if you don't teach them the responsibility on how to use their credit, what to look for, interest rates, things of that nature, they can easily get sucked in and become this. It can become this spiral where it just spirals out of control. It's bad enough that when they leave college, they inherit a debt if you can't fully pay for their education. On top of that, to leave with that kind of debt, it's kind of putting you behind an 8 ball before you even get started. You know, myself, when I was in college, I don't think that I took any credit cards. A lot of my friends did. They found themselves in financial trouble once we left school because of the predatory lending. The interest rates were just astronomical, 33.3%, 23.8%. You know, when you're young, you don't pay attention to these things. But, you know, you wind up paying back a couple of $1,000s 20 times over just with the interest alone. So it's important that you understand, you know, what credit is for, you know, how to use it. You know, it's also important that you understand credit to debt ratio. And what that means, if you have higher debts than the credit, if the ratio is unbalanced, I don't care if you have a 700, 750 credit score. You know, you're basically a liability because you have proven or shown that you're irresponsible with your credit. You know, a lot of times you get the minimum payments, pay $15, pay $30. If you really want your credit to be excellent, you may not have the money to purchase whatever you want to purchase there, but make sure that you pay your bills on time and it's not a minimum payment. Try to pay as much as you can if you can't pay all. That is how you build strong credit, and that is how you get these lending institutions to look at you. Another thing, credit can also be a good thing for the pure fact that if you're a business owner, small business owner, you know, you would prefer a line of credit over a business loan. Why? Well, because if you take a loan, 30 days later, you have to make a payment whether you use that capital or not to finance your business, buy equipment, anything that you need to grow your business so that you can become successful and have a profitable business. But if you have a line of credit, only thing that you're paying for is what you spend. So if you have $100,000 and you spend $1,000, you're only being charged for that $1,000 that you spent from your credit line, as opposed to a loan. You get the loan, 30 days later, you get your mail, interest rates, along with your payment, whether you use it or not. So it's just little simple things like that that you have to pay attention to, because as we know, if you allow little things to fester, they become even bigger things. And like I said before, it spirals out of control. So these are just a couple of tips that I would personally want to give to you so that you can make better choices. I don't really want to get too much into it before Corey gets here, because I would like for him to really convey, you know, his opinion and his expertise and what he has witnessed from here to LA to Memphis and all the other places that he's been throughout his career. So we're going to go to another clip when we come back from commercial break, and we're going to have Corey here on the couch. Thank you.
$1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, all abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside. Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body.
I just want him to love me.
But mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
It affects us all.
모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
Welcome back to another brick segment of AAU Teen Talk TV. I'm your co-host, William Teddy Portwine, and we are still waiting on our guest to come out of the dressing room to make his grand appearance, so to speak. You know, this whole issue of credit, you know, it's a very interesting topic, you know, especially at this juncture in the nation with so much going on and poverty levels rising and people losing their homes. Can't say enough about it, you know, but before we really get into the steak and potatoes, the meat of it, so to speak, we're going to go to another video with Corey P. Smith just to kind of bring you up to speed about what he's been doing with his book and the information that he has. So this is another clip. And what you just saw was a clip of Corey P. Smith's Conspiracy of Credit, one of his trailers. As I was saying before we went to the video clip, you know, in this juncture of this nation, you have so many people homeless. You know, you have banks that are basically getting bailed out while the average working person is just left to fend for themselves. You know, the travesty in all of that is these funds like AIG are basically the biggest pensions of New York City. That's New York, NYPD, FDNY, corrections. You know, these are all their pension funds. So when you have someone bail these banks out, it's almost like you're being robbed twice. And what I mean by that is when they take that money, it's basically charged back to that pension fund. So not only do you not get the services and do you lose money on the back end, you lose money on the front end, because when they take the money, you basically have to pay that money back. So while they're bailing the big banks out and these big institutions out, you're basically left to carry the baggage. And even though you may not be hurting, you know, you can be a correction officer making a base salary of $80,000, $120 a year if you do overtime. But what about, you know, maybe you have a mother that's on a fixed income. She's retired. You know, maybe you have an aunt or even your grandmother. That is money that could have been allocated somewhere else to make sure that they're taken care of. You know, so when you talk about credit, it's a very broad topic, and it goes so many different directions, from business to just everyday living, you know, your quality of life. So many things, you know, simple things that can just mount up sometimes. So, you know, we're going to take a little break. We're going to take another commercial break, and we'll be right back with Corey P. Smith.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance. Maybe she needs help with a computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this. You'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue Tequila. Now, mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
Hi, I'm Tatiana, and I'm a person in long-term recovery from heroin addiction. It was really, really hard, waking up in the morning, not knowing what to do, needing my next bag. I was so lost, but I'm here today to tell you that there is a solution. When I was in my active addiction, I didn't realize that there was another way of life. I thought that that was the only way, because it felt so good to get high, but it was all an illusion, and I didn't realize that. But today, being 4 years clean and sober, my life is absolutely amazing. I'm able to travel, I don't need a drink, I don't need a drug. I'm just happy being with myself. I couldn't understand for many years why was I doing this? It's because I was an addict, but I didn't know it. Today, many kids are becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol, but they don't know exactly what they're getting into until they're out of it. And it's our job, it's my job, to stand for these kids, stand for their recovery, and fight for their addiction. So I'm the president of Onward Forever, and I provide recovery services and support. And we're here to help. We're here to just listen. Anything that we can do to help. If you need me, this is how you get a hold of me. Please call 347-244-1550. 347-244-1550. I developed this company to help you, our families, and our community to fight this crisis on Long Island and in our nation. Thank you.
What are you looking for? You don't even know that. You're on the ball list, so you can't even answer. I'm asking you about it. You gotta be highly skilled. You gotta be highly skilled. You understand that? Are you well versed there? Are you very smart man? Hit me with some funny shit. My shit's twisted. Tell me something. What do you have right there?
That's awesome.
Well,
that's a big.
That's nice. You know damn well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Sir. Are you interested in twisted or not?
Yes, I am. Sure.
See, you got twisted.
That's twisted. You see what I'm saying? You understand me? And if you can't whip out answers like that, that man is liable to door to commercial break, punch your fucking mouth loose. You understand me? Time is up, sir. You understand me? You're on. You're the man. All right, give me your name now. I'm sorry.
My name is Willie.
Willie, where you working at?
We are twisted. We are awesome. Love it.
Can you repeat that question again?
What are you looking for?
Welcome to the Rehab Center located at 2025 Brentwood Road in Brentwood, New York. At the center we offer chiropractic services, acupuncture, and physical therapy. We take most major medical, no-fault, and workers' comp insurance. If you need these types of services, contact the offices at 631-234-4949. That's 631-234-4949. Welcome to the Rehab Center located at 2025 Brentwood Road in Brentwood, New York. At the center we offer chiropractic services, acupuncture, and physical therapy. We take most major medical, no-fault, and workers' comp insurance. If you need these types of services, contact the offices at 631-234-4949. That's 631-234-4949.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
And welcome back to another brick segment of AAU Teen Talk TV. We have our special guest in the building, Mr. Corey P. Smith, author of Conspiracy of Credit, and we're going to get into the interview. Thank you for coming out, Corey.
Man, thank you for having me.
And it's a pleasure. So, what made you write this book, Conspiracy of Credit?
The Conspiracy of Credit was really a spinoff of my first book, How to Outsmart the Credit Bureaus. With this book, Conspiracy of Credit, I wanted to give the people more of a blueprint, explanation of sort of connecting the dots between how the credit bureaus, the banking system, politicians work together in some form or fashion to hold poor people in bondage, so to speak, the working poor. It's a game of numbers, and most people who have not been educated on how credit works tend to fall into that credit trap, FICO oppression, what I call it, with having bad credit.
Got you. So basically what you're giving them is basically a way to get out of economical bondage, so to speak.
Right. It's an eye opener. I mean, a lot of people they don't realize the game that's being played. When you're poor and you don't have a lot of cash, the only thing that you have is your name. That's what you use to obtain credit. So essentially, that's all that you do have, credit. But if you have not learned how to leverage credit to your advantage in terms of putting yourself in a better financial position, then you'll just remain on a treadmill of poverty, so to speak.
Right. So you mentioned leverage credit. What exactly does that mean when you say to leverage your credit for the folks out there that may be watching?
It means using your credit for the purpose of acquiring assets that will service the debt. What I mean by that, as opposed to going out to get a Macy's or Bloomingdale's car to obtain items that will depreciate in value, you could do something as simple as acquire a $10,000 loan or a $10,000 credit card and maybe purchase a rundown home for $4,000, $5,000, and just simply there are ways to put those homes back on the market with no renovation at all and sell them for maybe $12,000, $13,000. That's what I mean by now you have just leveraged the credit that you obtained to give you an asset that has increased your finances by maybe $5,000, $10,000. But each time is like one brick at a time, so to speak.
Okay, sort of like the more sound way that Dame Dash is flipping.
Yeah,
okay.
More sound way the Dame Dash is flipping, yeah.
Now, I noticed you've been in LA a lot. I noticed You've been taking your message on the road. You've been doing a lot of press interviews. I follow you all over the place.
Right.
What are some of the questions that you're mostly asked by individuals who may be trying to change their situation?
One of the biggest questions that I'm asked is related to collection agencies. You know, because I teach people not to pay collection agencies, and I also teach them that when you are approached by a collection agency, whether it be by phone or mail, you always respond in a way that you're not denying the debt. You're just stating that I have no knowledge of this debt, particularly with your company. And I talk about in the book how I use tactics such as using general affidavits of denial. And I show that particular example in the book. I also talk about filing complaints with the Better Business Bureau against the collection agencies, filing complaints with the Consumer Financial Protection Agency, filing complaints depending on whatever state that you live in with consumer affairs within your state against the collection agency. Those tactics will back them up because essentially they know they have no ground to stand on. And sometimes what they'll do, because they cannot produce the paperwork that you're requesting by using the general affidavit of denial, they'll respond by a letter saying affidavit of destroyed instruments, so to speak. And basically what they've done is just had somebody swear to the fact that we don't have the paperwork to prove that you owe this debt, but we have somebody that swear that you owed it. That doesn't hold water. So a lot of people don't know you don't have to pay a collection agency, contrary to what you've been taught. And I provide the proof in my book. I provide the actual paperwork. I tell the story of how I handle some of the collection agencies that I've dealt with in the past.
So how did you come to discover this information? Was it something that you went through personally? Was you did you go to school for this? Did you self-educate yourself? What brought about this information? Because this is not the average type of information that the average person will have, because when I hear you talk, automatically my mind goes to Uniform Commercial Code,
right?
Third-party collection,
right?
You know, third-party collectors. But I got a little bit of knowledge of that, but the average person out there may not. So how did you come about this information?
Self-education, a lot of research, a lot of trying things that didn't work, a lot of stealing information from the collection agency, so to speak, stealing information from the credit bureaus. What I mean by stealing information, it was almost like me sitting on the phone every day going back and forth, communicating with the collection agencies or communicating with the credit bureaus and asking them particular questions, and they didn't even realize what I was doing to get certain responses. Otherwise, they wouldn't give me freely, and I just connected the dots.
Wow, that's something definitely to be admired. You know, you've been doing this for a while now. About how long you been doing it?
Since '99.
Since '99. Wow.
Since '99, I started. I was in my lowest. I mean, I was in an apartment with my wife and now my oldest daughter. We were in an apartment struggling. I was working every day, but I'm sleeping on the floor with no lights. And it hit me one night, in the middle of the night, the only way that I'm going to fix this situation is that I got to fix my name, which is my credit, and then use that as a tool to put my family in a better position. So every day, you know, I talked to my wife and I was like, we got to let this apartment go. I said, you know, we got to move in either with my mother or your grandmother. And I was like, I asked her to give me 24 months, which seemed like a long time. I was like, you give me 24 months and I'll give you the world. And you know, immediately we let that apartment go, and immediately every day that became my job, researching the credit bureaus, going to the courts, researching different cases, researching collection agencies, researching the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That became my job. And I tried different things. I tried a lot of different things. I tried and you know, I stumbled on a few things that ordinarily, you know, I wouldn't have just gotten by them giving me the information freely to defend myself against a collection agency or a creditor.
Right. What you say is very interesting also, because they'll tell you in a minute, ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Right. Unless they're the ones who's being ignorant.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So what is some of the other things that people like really ask you about, they're really curious about?
People ask me questions pertaining to the credit cards. I mean, a lot of people fall into this trap of settling debt with credit card companies, and they don't realize like this is an actual law, and you can look it up. Anytime that a credit card company approach you and asks you to settle a debt for $600, that's the magic number, $600 less than what you owe, you will be subject to paying taxes on that, because the IRS looks at that as earned income. That's income. It's almost like someone gave you a loan, so you have to pay taxes on it. So that's one of the things that I try to provide information to people, to tell them you don't negotiate a credit card debt. One, don't believe that old adage that if you have become delinquent on a credit card debt, pay it off because it's going to improve your credit. It's not. Once it's damaged, it's damaged. You know, and it'll take you years to repair your credit. So the best thing for you to do is try to remove the account altogether from your credit file. And that's where the affidavit process come into play. Because the one thing that a lot of people do not realize is that the credit bureaus are nothing more than record keepers. That's it. You're not even a customer to them. People like me and you, we're not their customers. Their customers are the banks. So their loyalty lies with the banks. So when we talk about who you contract with, you have contracts or you have agreements with the creditor. So when you dispute something with the credit bureaus by use of an affidavit, which is a sworn statement, you're asking them to provide proof that hey, you know this is 100% accurate. And the Fair Credit Reporting Act states that you have to provide 100% accuracy. Now, how can you do that? How can you do that if there are privacy laws in place? Like if I have a credit card with Capital One, my agreement is with Capital One and whoever their brand of family is, whether it's Kohl's. So which means that they cannot turn any of my information or my agreement or contracts over to the credit bureaus. That's why they communicate with the credit bureaus via numbers. 1, you pay on time. 2, you pay 30 days late. 3, you're 60 days late. It's all by numbers, computers, not, hey, here's the contract, this is accurate, if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me. So then my next question is, if this is the case, why is buying debt and collection agencies seems like such a big thing? I know I got 3 friends of mine that's all they do.
I mean, it's a business. I mean, that's the way of the world, so to speak. You prey on the ignorance of the poor. Poor man can't defend himself or herself.
It's almost like being voiceless.
Right. I mean,
because of the lack of information, if you don't have it.
Exactly. Like, it's almost taking a child. If a child does not know anything, you can take advantage of them all day long, whether it's, you know, a monetary thing or something material, because they don't know. They can easily be manipulated, and most consumers are easily manipulated. you have people that pay for identity theft protection.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
And why are you paying for identity theft protection when you can protect your own credit? If you pay attention, every day they're pumping out commercials to get you to invest in identity theft protection. It's almost like entertainment. I always say that people would rather be entertained than educated. So you figure look at the revenue stream. If you have 100 million people paying $10 a month for something that's free, I could easily go and put a consumer statement on my credit file stating, do not extend credit unless you contact me via 901-366-1822. So whenever someone attempts to use my credit, they're not going to be successful because that statement is there, and I did that for free. I often talk about LifeLock. A lot of people do not realize that Goldman Sachs has a big stake in LifeLock, which merged with a company called ID Analytics. Goldman Sachs also has a big stake in TransUnion, the credit bureau. And you have to ask yourself the question, why is that? You can't win against that.
And they also control a lot of banks.
And they control a lot of banks.
So that's basically a monopoly on the industry when you look at it.
Right.
In fact, they brought that up in Congress a few years back with Maxine Waters questioning.
Right, and you know, and I commend Maxine Waters with what she's trying to do. The only difficult thing about it is that when you're trying to go against giants like Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, Goldman Sachs, and they have money, they can lobby all day long with millions of dollars and block whatever you're trying to do. So, you know, it's a difficult task. You know, my whole goal is it's going to take a movement. It's going to take a movement of people to cause change. Period. Like, no one person is going to do it. It's going to take a movement of people to get tired and realize that this whole credit industry simply preys on poor people.
I hear it's been a lot of talk with group economics. And my thing has always been, and no disrespect to anyone out there, how do you practice group economics if we live in a credit nation and nobody really understands credit?
Right.
Like, see, now you're successful in business, you run a business, your business is really based on credit because Federal Reserve notes are just promissory notes to pay the debt.
Right.
So your only real, like you said, your only real currency is your credit, which is your name. The information that you just told me, and I'm quite sure the folks that are out there are probably now stopping to think the light bulb is coming on.
Right.
So when you talk about practicing group economics, like I've been hearing Claude Anderson and quite a few other folks, Claude Anderson was out in the city yesterday talking about this. Shouldn't there be a step to usher people into that? Shouldn't you understand the tool that you're using? Because everything you purchase is going to be credit lines. It's not going to be like you're going to take the money out of you. When you do business, this is how you do business.
Right.
I don't hear anybody talking like you're talking. And there may be some folks out there. So far, like I said, I've been following you for quite some time now. I haven't heard anybody have this conversation. So I think that it's very important what you're doing, and we need to try to get more folks on board, because if you become stronger individually, then you can come together collectively with this knowledge and understanding.
Right.
And then you can do group economics if you choose to.
Right.
You know, it's just so many aspects to me. Like, what's the starting point? And to me, this would be the starting point.
Yeah. Someone asked me about, I think his name is Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yeah, Umar Johnson.
And they asked me my opinion. I don't know a whole lot about him. Even when you speak of Claude Anderson and a lot of other people, Farrakhan, I respect them, what they're trying to do.
Right.
But and when you talk about whether it's black economics, white economics,
right,
or dealing with poor people, period, in my opinion, it takes money.
Right.
And I'm aware of my past when you have people talk about slavery and these all different types of unjust things that took place. Mm-hmm. I'm aware of all that, but I'm not going to spend my time and energy, you know, talking about that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna spend my time and energy trying to help people figure out a way to get some cash in their hands to put themselves in a better financial position. Now, the starting point, we have to play the same game that the people that are in control are playing. Sad to say, we have to start with entertainment. Like, when I started promoting my book, I realized that, man, it was boring to people. People don't want to hear that. So I had to find a starting point. It's almost like, okay, I have to entertain them to get their attention. And once I have their attention, that's my starting point to show them, hey, this is what needs to be done. This is what we can do. And it's almost like, you remember in college when you had these study groups?
Never went to one of them.
Never went to one of them. I've been to a few, but you have like 10 people and we're all studying for an exam. I look at, we need to start, I want to start these groups for credit. Imagine having 10 people and you studying credit and working on credit together as a group. It's a lot of positive energy and there's a lot of information being bounced off each other. You know, that's one of the things when you talk about having a starting point that I want to create a community.
Okay. So now, for the folks out there that may want to get in contact with you or may want to purchase your books, how can they get in touch with you? How can they purchase your book?
The book is available everywhere. Books are sold, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, iTunes, audio books, Books A Million. Anywhere books are sold, I can be contacted at www.coreypsmith.com, www.conspiracyofcredit.com, or you can email me at info@coreypsmith.com.
Okay. Well, you know, we got to get you back again. We'll get some more time with you.
I forgot I was in New York. It's a busy place.
Very, very busy, but, you know, we'll get you back for sure. And that's all we have for today. You know, thank you for joining us once again on the Brick segment of AAU Teen Talk TV. I'm your co-host, William Teddy Portwine, with my guest, Corey P. Smith.
Credit is for poor people. Stop paying collection agencies. Why you shouldn't pay creditors. Your good credit means nothing. Tax liens can be removed. Identity protection is a product. Do you know Corey P. Smith?